Hey guys, just a quick video. Mel Carmine here, and I want to share my screen today and show you some of the things that I bookmarked on my X account that really, truly turn me on. So I'll be pausing in between each video. Hopefully this video comes out really, really good. All right. Okay, here we go.
Tangent about the mold. Everybody goes on the tangent about the mold. There's a great book called We Want to Live. And that book goes into talking about how mold can eat heavy metals. So check this. When you were younger, they injected you with penicillin, which makes you allergic to mold, so that you couldn't eat mold to detox the heavy metals from the injections. Truly mind-blowing, that's for sure, when I was reading through this book and the book We Want to Live, where he was talking about people consuming moldy berries to eat up the heavy metals inside the body. And people can look into this. Mold eats candida, it eats heavy metals, it eats all of those things. Whenever you see like a moldy strawberry or a moldy blueberry, people are like, oh, I'm gonna throw that one away. That's the one that's detoxing you. That's the one that's connected to the amoxicillin, the penicillin, and all those other cillins that they were injecting people with to make them allergic to it. Because then they wouldn't want to eat the counter, which pulls the metals out of the body and heals the body. Yeah, that's a deep one. This is one of those books where you read and you want to punch somebody in the face. That's the best way to describe it. You read this book and you want to punch somebody in the face. Because when you're sitting there wondering, why am I allergic to something? Oh, okay, I got it. Now it makes sense. You injected me with something, this system injected me with something to make me allergic to something. Everybody.
Now, I personally love watching this guy. I have not read the book yet, but I do plan on reading it. But I do want to get that app that you put your phone over the book, and the actual app reads the book to you, and you can choose multiple characters. I'm sure you've all seen the commercial. So this happens to be one of my favorite ones, and there's other ones as well. But I can tell you that this is the kind of stuff that absolutely turns me on. You learn more scrolling in 1 week than you did in high school. When was the last time you learned that in high school about mold? How about never? You know what I mean? So this is the look. I spend 2 hours a day scrolling. I am guilty as charged, like everybody else. Now pay attention to this one, please,
guys. 1.25 billion. That's the number of bees that 1 teaspoon of the neonicotinoid pesticide thiamethoxam will kill. That's more bees than in all of North America. 1 teaspoon. It was Jonas Salk that said, if all insects disappeared on this planet, life would end within 50 years. And if all humans disappeared from this planet, life would flourish within 50 years. So how is it that we can go out into a field and spray glyphosate? Have you ever seen a field that's been sprayed with glyphosate? It's an iridescent yellow. It is dead. Biodiversity is gone. So how does all this work? We spray pesticides that kill the insects and kill the pollinators. And we spray herbicides that kill the plants that provide the food for the pollinators. How can biodiversity be given a chance when we continue to use chemicals in our food system? The best way to protect biodiversity and to protect our pollinators is to remove chemicals from our food system. Now, organic may not be a perfect system, but at least it goes some way towards helping improve biodiversity and keeping chemicals out of our food system. So as always, thank you for your support. Without it, we wouldn't be here, and we really appreciate it.
Again, you're not going to learn that in school, and these are just some of the things. Listen, I love to learn. I want to know everything about everything, and that's just who I am as a person. You know, I've had some people mention in the chat rooms early that hey, you're over there preaching health and you're fat. Yes, I know. I've had a weight problem all my life, on and off. But I can tell you one thing: in my line of business, you're constantly either entertaining or being entertained. And it's very, very difficult. I wish someone can, say, hey, this is a magic pill that you take and it increases your metabolism by a factor of 8, 9, 10 times. I would gladly take that pill as long as it doesn't kill me. But to sit there and make fun of people who are out here busting their ass to try and make sure humanity survives really, really sucks. Let me tell you. And you know, sometimes I'm a human being. I lose my mind and I go off on these people, and rightfully so. So, but anyway, that's so much on that. But I could tell you that some of these videos are absolutely awesome. So stay with me. Now, pay attention. Pay attention. Remember, they want you to look over here while they're doing something else over there. This is a classic example.
Bill Gates is very interested in your water. While everyone's distracted with indictments and celebrity BS, Bill Gates, BlackRock, and Nestle just quietly teamed up. Yes, Nestle. Same company whose chairman literally said water isn't a human right. And now they're making moves to own it. This isn't speculation, it's already happening. Gates is buying up farmland that sits on major aquifers. BlackRock is pouring billions into water infrastructure. And Nestle? Still extracting millions of gallons while local communities run dry. They're not just buying land, they're buying access to rivers, lakes, groundwater. They're investing in the tech to monitor, track, and reroute where water flows and who gets it. This isn't about conservation. This is about control. Food already controls people, but water? Water controls everything. You can live without oil. You can survive without power. But water? You've got days. They already run agriculture, finance, and energy. Now they want to own survival itself.
Imagine BlackRock owning all of the water rights. A gallon of water will be like $89. I shit you not. And so it's very important that you guys pay attention to this stuff. See, I have alternatives to that. My friend Larry and my friend Greg, we know how to pull water out of the atmosphere. Okay, it's called air to water, and we have industrial machines that are capable of producing, you know, one machine can produce 100,000 gallons a day, literally. The Army is talking with Greg and his partner right now to be able to buy these machines in bulk for the Army. So we have solutions to those problems. We don't want these guys owning the aquifers. That's the last thing we want. So pay attention, guys. This will probably make you want to stop drinking Starbucks coffee. Listen very carefully.
You guys, if you drink Starbucks, watch this.
That you get your coffee in at Starbucks. Let's talk about those.
A paper cup, by nature, should absorb water. If it's not absorbing water, then that means there must be a barrier in between the paper and the liquid. And that barrier is polyethylene plastic. A study found that in 15 minutes of contact with hot liquids, leached 25,000 microplastic particles into your cup. But no one's questioning this. No one's really thinking about it because it's just part of our daily lives.
Are we very good at metabolizing plastics?
No, plastic is a foreign body. It's a foreign particle. In fact, it'll break down into nanoplastics. And nanoparticles in general have the issue of being able to penetrate cell membranes. So it can penetrate very deeply into the cell. It can cause inflammation. Your body doesn't know how to deal with it. It's a foreign object. So you'll get the inflammatory response when you encounter these. But to make things worse, the microplastics themselves are a foreign body, but they also release plasticizer chemicals when they're in contact with your body. And they can also carry toxic chemicals into your body.
The fact that they can basically invade and integrate into our cells, and you are what you eat. Are we turning into real life Barbie and Ken dolls?
We could be, because there's actually microplastics that have been detected in human lung, blood, and placenta. And who knows how much of this is getting into babies? Are babies being born with plastic in their bodies? I would guesstimate yes.
Now, some of you who've been following me for a long time know that I lived in Costa Rica for 11 years with Amber. And at one point I got bored and I started building a dune buggy, hot rod. And it was one hell of a hot rod. And the guy that sold it to me, he bought the gentleman who got crashed. They crashed his car. He was in Fast and Furious. I can't think of his name. Paul something. Starred right there with Vin Diesel. It'll come to me, hopefully. If not, you guys can write it down below. But he was dying of cancer, and he almost didn't want to give me the car. I said, the car's worth $2,000. I'll give you $4,000, but if you ask for a penny more, I'm walking away. Long story short, his girlfriend convinced him to sell the car to me, which he did. When I got to know him when we were doing the paperwork with the lawyers and all of that down in Costa Rica before I started my overhauling project, he said, Mel, it's the plastic. Plastic is killing everybody. He had cancer. He died at 48 years old. Okay. He said plastic is killing. Stop drinking out of plastic bottles. I'm telling you, it is dangerous. They don't tell you this. The killing machine has been accelerated. By the way, you notice how everybody's getting this wood-looking floor tiles. They look exactly like wood, and they're made out of PVC. Okay? That stuff is no good for you. Okay? You know the sheetrock? They make freaking toothpaste, okay? And they put fluoride in the sheetrock. Instead of throwing it away and disposing of it properly when they build a home, they make toothpaste and they sell it to you. And they're killing every single one of us. Stop listening to all the bullshit out there. We know, we got our finger on the pulse. I've been at this for 40 years. I have a pretty good handle on it. This is a good one as well. Pay attention.
I will show you the science of actually how the cells work, and you will have more knowledge than most doctors in the world today because they still believe in the genes. You are made out of 50 trillion cells, and the cells are the living entities. So you are a community, not a single person. Every cell in your body has minus voltage on the inside and positive voltage on the outside.
Remember when I say that when you come into staying alive, your cells get charged to 90 millivolts? Well, listen to what he's talking about. I'll rewind that little piece just a little bit.
On the inside and positive voltage on the outside. Every live cell is a battery. Every cell has about 1.4 volts. 50 trillion cells in the body times 1.4 volts is 700 trillion volts of electricity in your body right now. And with training and meditation, you can focus this energy called chi, and you can use that energy for healing.
When you come into our center, that energy has been amplified like 199,000 more than you can expect, and your body goes into acceleration of healing on its own. It's not the machines. The machines are not medical devices, but this guy knows what he's talking about. His numbers are a little bit fudged, but he's spot on.
So while you see yourself as a physical entity, the new physics, you are energy waves interacting with each other right now. All animals and all plants communicate with vibration. The gazelle doesn't have to go up to the lion and say, "Are you my friend?" Because at the distance, the energy could be felt and the gazelle will not go there because of bad vibes. If we, when we were young, were taught to be sensitive to the vibrations, we would not find ourselves in bad relationships and bad places. But we are usually told not to go by our feelings, but to listen to what people have to say. Language was designed to hide feelings. The point is, all organisms communicate by vibrations and know if they're in a good place or a bad place by reading the vibrations. We humans have that ability, but are not trained to use that ability. When we see people, like if I look at the audience or you see us, we see people as physical particles and machines. But that's an illusion, because what we are interacting waves. That's why one person can affect another person just by being in the field. And today, physics studies the vibration, not the physical. In quantum physics, we don't study the particles, we study the waves. And we study how the wave interference. All of the waves together is called the field. So you're made out of atoms, but you also are the field. You are connected to everything because you can't separate waves.
Correct.
Now I'm going to show you how your thoughts go out and affect your life on the outside.
This is the kind of stuff I watch all the time, guys, because, at the end of the day, I'm here to learn. You're here to learn. And hopefully you guys will appreciate this kind of podcasting. You'll let me know down below. Or if you think it's boring, you'll let me know as well. I'm sure some of you guys are very boisterous. You won't have a problem telling me. Now, this one I'm not going to play all the way because it could be a little bit dangerous, but you'll get the gist of it. I'll play the first few seconds.
an alarming story, to put it mildly. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. is calling for reforms to the U.S. organ donation system. This comes after an investigation unearthed a whole lot of reports of doctors, American doctors, trying to remove organs from patients who still showed signs of life, brain activity. Secretary Kennedy says, quote, "Our findings showed that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life." And
imagine that. Okay. So be careful what you put on your driver's license. I am a non-donor. I don't want some rich guy that needs my liver because my liver is compatible with his blood and his DNA to have them whack me on the freaking table because someone needs my liver. Now, if you want to fix California, you got to vote for my friend Louis Herms. Okay, we're pushing him very, very hard. Screwbiggov.com. Screwbiggov.com. All right, go check him out. Go help him out. If you know anybody in California, he's never been a politician, and he's making a lot of noise. He's gone from the number 0 spot. Okay, he was in the last place all the way to the number 2 spot. And the only other guy we got to knock out of the box is Chad Bianco, who is a criminal, absolute criminal. If you watch my interview, recent interview with Mr. Herms, you'll understand emphatically. But here we go.
Okie doke. Tag somebody in California who thinks that they're helping poor people buy electric cars. They're not. Would you like the reality? It's a myth. Rebate paperwork is processed so slowly that funds run out before working families are even approved. Historically, the money went straight to wealthy Tesla buyers who didn't even need it. The lovely Air Resource Board created a first-come, first-served system that favors the rich. The system rewards speed and privilege, not need. Green shouldn't be greed. We need new leadership.
Now, how many of you think that maybe this snowfall had a lot to do with the chemtrails that they've been spraying us with? Watch this video closely and please comment down below.
So the lab results are in from the crazy snowfall in Texas. Let's have a look at these water samples. Aluminum 41.7, high levels of aluminum, high levels of barium, high levels of strontium, lead and mercury, sulfur, which is normal, nitrates, and then the pH. Now, how is it that our snow is so high in these heavy metals? How is it possible that there's such high levels of aluminum, barium, lead, mercury in our snow that our children are eating that's going into our ground? Perhaps this is the reason right here, because they are dousing our skies with chemicals, and they have been for a long time. If you don't know this, then your head is completely in the sand. Completely obvious what they're doing, and it's proven. So the lab.
So the fix is very simple, guys. You guys got to organize. You got to immobilize. You got to get loud. You got to get obnoxious. You got to get irate. And you got to get to your local governor's office. You got to get everybody to burn up their freaking phones and say, stop spraying us. We are not lab rats. Now, there's going to be a lot of damages here. I'm going to tell you right now. People are calling me. They're sick. They got all kinds of. Listen, I'm in the healing business. I get a lot of people, just as many people as a doctor calling us that they're sick. Hey, does your system help with this? Does your system help with that? The reality is it helps everything, okay? But it's not a magic wand. It doesn't happen overnight. My mom, you've seen the videos, and I'll maybe show that video before we go here. The video of my mom was absolutely something else. I mean, that's what put, I think, the scalar wave technology on the map was my mom's testimonial. But so anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me get to the next one here. Now, the same way it works for humans is the same way it works for animals. Your veterinarians are not part of the solution. They are part of the problem. Watch this. Hopefully this doesn't get me a strike. I'm hoping not.
This is another one too, the whole rabies thing. There has never been a single animal with rabies. They just inject the animals so that they can keep the vets in business. If your vet tells you you need rabies shots for your animal, you should fire them. All they're doing is promoting poison so they can inject your animal, then your animal can come down with a debilitating disease, and then they have a patient for life. That is all rabies is. There's no rabid dogs running around and they're going to get you in anything else. The first studies done on rabid dogs were dogs that were locked in cages and went completely nuts. And then the guy who created the rabies vaccine stuck it in the dog's head and said that the rabies vaccine worked after the dogs died. That is rabies. And to this day, they are still injecting dogs for rabies, fake illness, to poison the dogs, to have patients for life. It is truly sick and twisted is what it is. And the book, The Contagion Myth by Tom Cowan, debunks that one. And the book, The Poison Needle by Eleanor McBean, debunks that one. The vets do the same thing as the doctors. Just like all these professionals. They are there to keep you as a patient for life. That's what I'm going to say to that.
I wish I could argue with that gentleman. He is so spot on. It is absolutely right down ridiculous. And I tell you, if you go to QFS1776.com, I've recently, and I don't need to make another, additional money, and I don't make a lot of money, so I don't really push it that hard. Maybe I should. But we do have organic dog food, the super organic dog food, because I came into some information that told me emphatically that the dog food is cardboard. It's cardboard that is doused with water, put through the machinery that is shredded, and they put all kinds of chemicals and flavors and things, and your dog is eating Purina cardboard. Cardboard that they need to throw away. They bring it to these factories and they shred it and they put flavors in it and they make dog food. Most of your dog food comes from China. China does not love you, folks. I'm telling you. And so you have to be careful, because reality is that, man, this, how do you say, truth is stranger than fiction? It sure is, let me tell you. I told you everything they sell you is poisonous. Everything.
Toxic shampoo brand in the United States? Most Americans might know that the safest shampoo brand in the USA is Briogeo. So which is the most toxic shampoo brand in the United States? 5th place, Garnier Fructis by L'Oreal. Garnier Fructis is a popular fruity scented line packed with parabens, synthetic dyes, and sulfates that strip natural oils and irritate scalps, tasting like chemical overload.
I'm going to stop that one. That one get me a strike as well. Look, the best thing to do is find out how to make your own stuff. That's why I say, creating a tribal gated community at this point in the times we live in right now is not a bad idea. And Amber and I are not ruling that out. We might go down that route at some point down the future. If you hear Mel Carmine selling 3-acre lots when XRP is, $50,000, $100,000 or $5,000, you'll know why. Exactly because of this. Because then we'll have somebody that knows how to create organic shampoos, and we'll have somebody that creates organic soaps, and we'll have somebody that knows how to grow indoors, and we won't be eating poisonous foods anymore, and we'll figure out a way to get rid of the chemtrails in the meantime, and there's a lot of stuff to fix, folks. A lot of stuff. You know what? This video that I'm making today is a little dangerous, but I got to do what I got to do. Is I am a truther, and I got to bring you the truth, and I do believe this to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I just want to know how an evil villain works. Watch this.
Bill Gates just got approved to spray mRNA on crops. Now, this man is the busiest. He's just at it every month. I got to respect the grind. He's always doing something to make people's health worse. He's got that mentality. He's the Goggins of people's lives up. Just further drives home the point that the safest food you can eat right now is grass-fed, grass-finished finished meat. You can't trust what you're getting from the supermarket. If you're getting fresh produce, it's best to go to a farmer's market where you actually know the farmer. If you can't do that, I would buy frozen organic produce because it's a little bit cheaper, you can have access to it, and it's not going to spoil very quickly. You can't trust the food system right now. It sucks. I hate.
You think maybe Bill Gates, you think maybe by chance that he's heavily invested in pharmaceuticals? Because what do people do when they're sick? They don't come running to Staying Alive in Cape Canaveral. No, they go running to the doctor because they've been brainwashed by the tell a lie vision for 100 years. So that's where they go running to.
Breaking news, New York has just banned several popular laundry detergents, one you might even have in your home because it contains trace amounts of known cancer-causing contaminant 1,4-dioxane. Here's the list. You won't see 1,4-dioxane listed on the ingredient label since it is a byproduct, but here are the ingredients you need to look out for. Make sure you're checking for these ingredients in things like soap, body wash, baby products, shampoo, personal care products, cosmetics, and deodorant. And remember the concept of bioaccumulation. It's not just your laundry detergent that contains this. If you're using all these other products that contain trace amounts of 1,4-dioxane, it really becomes a problem.
Like this video that I'm making is not very professional. I'm not a professional video, producer or content creator. I'm just a guy that's trying to wing it here like everybody else. A video like this should be shared everywhere, right? And should get millions and millions of views, but it won't because we're being censored. And so if you haven't seen the movie, Dear Mr. President, dearmrpresident.net, dearmrpresident.net, go watch it. It's free of charge. It's in 8 languages. It is in Spanish, Italian, German, French, Russian, Cantonese, Mandarin, you name it, okay?
President Trump, you put in a whole lot of executive orders as of late. Let me offer one that's going to move the needle in the biggest way possible, and maybe none of your advisors are telling you about it. How about putting an end to stratospheric aerosol injections? In other words, this garbage that they're dumping from the sky right now. You see, I'm a farmer, and I need a planet, and we're not going to have much of one if they keep dumping this aluminum, barium, strontium, and all the other garbage that they're dropping from the sky. So, if you're taking requests for executive orders, let's start right there.
Agreed. Now, I don't know about you guys. I happen to like Russell Brand. I don't know if there's any dirt on him. There might be, there might not be. I'm not sure. But the only thing I could tell you is I could definitely relate with this story because I have an incredible relationship with my 2 puppies, and I thank God they are so healthy. Thank God. Maybe it's because of our system in Cape Canaveral. Maybe it's because we feed them organic food that you could find at QFS1776.com, organic treats, okay? You know what's more expensive than organic treats and organic dog food? Going to a vet who's trying to kill your dog. And they will kill your dog, I'm sorry to say. Not medical advice, but I know what I know.
My beloved dog Bear is mission completed. He is in the ground, that beautiful hound that I loved so much. If any of you have ever really loved a dog, you'll know how I feel. It seems kind of impossible that I could love a being that can't talk as intensely, intensively, as viscerally as I love Bear, and mourn and miss him the way that I do. I am devastated by the loss of this dog. But what I suppose is one of the many gifts that beautiful animal has given me, that beautiful, wild, broken animal, wild and crazy, once voted by the Daily Mail, but can you ever really trust the media, as the worst celebrity dog? But the thing is he was not a dog, and I am not a celebrity. Oh, that dog, he showed me so much. But the one lesson that I would love to pass on to you, if I may, from the loss of that beautiful animal is this. As Christians, we believe that human beings are broken, fallen, that we sin, And that in our sin we separate ourselves from God and God's perfect creation. I mean, look at God's perfect creation. Look at Bear, God's perfect creation. And that Christ atones for us at one, atonement, at one-ment, brings us back into oneness with him. And I find it hard to accept that anyone could ever love me enough to die for me. Do you ever feel that? That Christ loves us so much that he dies for us. He takes our sin and brokenness on him, that we may know eternal life, that we may be forgiven through him. And I find it hard to accept that sometimes. But many of you will be familiar with that rather worn allegory. A man in a flood, upon his roof as the waters rise, prays, "God save me." And a few minutes later, a lifeboat comes by and the man goes, "No, you're all right, God's going to get me." And then a helicopter comes by and he says, "Oh, you're all right, God's going to save me." And then he drowns and dies. And when he gets to heaven, he says to God, "Why didn't you save me?" And God says, "Did you not see the lifeboat I sent you, the helicopter that I sent you?" Well, God sent me there so that I may know how much I am loved. Because that dog would die for me. That dog would bear my sin. That dog would jump in front of a bullet for me. Oh, how I love Bear. Now he is in the ground, here in Florida. Bear is in the ground. My family is bonded. We've crossed over the bridge and we are ready to battle onwards. In the name of my beautiful dog Bear, who made life bearable, and without him it could be unbearable, but I know that I am loved by Christ Jesus, and you are too. And there's something worth living for, and there's something worth dying for in this world. Praise the Lord, rest in peace, Bear, in whatever passes for heaven for dogs. For surely we may be as Christ to you, as C.S. Lewis said. May we be as Christ to you. May we offer you salvation, beautiful dogs. Praise the Lord. Stay free.
I love dogs. Dog backwards is God. And my dogs are special. And they're street dogs. These are dogs that people in Costa Rica threw out like they were throwing out the trash. And they turned out to be amazing, amazing animals that are so intelligent. And I asked myself many times, how can someone just throw away these beautiful creatures? Just makes no sense. But anyway, so I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. Please let me know below. Don't forget to visit carminesgold.com. If you need gold or silver, we can get you some. If you need dinars, contact us at 786-704-8817, 786-704-8817. Send me a text message first with details. This way I'll get back to you. It's not for socializing. Please, 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 not for socializing.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. Open your eyes.
Sent me a video yesterday of a guy who started regrowing teeth utilizing frequencies.
And accidentally, when I applied the ultrasound, I found the lower incisor grow.
Aldi Ali is the first to try the treatment on humans. After 20 minutes a day, new teeth started to grow in a month.
Oh, they don't want to tell any dentist that. If all of a sudden you could start regrowing your teeth, oh, that would change it all. That would end it all. So there's another one in which we have been sold that cannot be fixed, but a guy in Canada created a device in which the teeth could regrow using frequency. And with your teeth too, you can do some coconut oil pulling with pearl powder and a little bit of clove and peppermint, and you're good to go. Somebody said, what is pearl? Pearl is air compressed pearls. So think of how people used to wear pearl necklaces, or they used to have pearly whites. That's all it is. Air compressed pearls turned into a powder, and then you just absorb it. You're eating mother pearl. And that's where the whole term pearly whites came from, because they used to replace people's teeth with pearls. In South America, if you lost a tooth, they would take a pearl and put it into the mouth because it was the exact same DNA as a human. So if a person lost a tooth, they would just put a pearl in their mouth. And that's the thing. Nature provides every resource that you need from every angle.
Yes, absolutely. We have every resource you could possibly think of.
Europe just pulled off the fastest military retreat in NATO history, and it only took one tariff threat from Trump. Germany, France, Sweden sent troops to Greenland. Acting tough, we're protecting Denmark. We're standing firm. Germany deployed 15 soldiers, led by a rear admiral. France sent mountain infantry that lasted exactly 44 hours. Trump announced 10% tariffs on 8 European countries, rising to 25%. And guess what? Germany's elite team got orders Sunday morning. Cancel everything. You're flying home at noon. 44 hours. That's less time than a weekend trip. Here's the best part. Germany invented the Blitzkrieg. Now they're executing the fastest retreat in modern history. Europe spent decades lecturing about standing up to bullies. Then one tariff threat, and they're gone. The German Defense Ministry tried spinning it. We completed our mission. Very satisfactory. Yeah, so satisfactory you canceled all your meetings and ran home. Trump didn't send troops, didn't fire a shot, just threatened their car exports. Suddenly, Greenland's not worth defending. This is economic warfare in 2026. No bombs, just tariffs. And NATO's second largest economy runs home after 2 days. Europe talks tough until it hits their wallet. Then it's every nation for itself. Trump proved you don't need aircraft carriers when you control the world's largest consumer market. This was theater, and the curtain dropped the moment money showed up.
Folks, we're going to control everything. We're going to control the money. We're going to control cryptocurrency, gold, silver, every resources. All the minerals are all coming back home. China basically controls 99% of all the minerals, rare earth minerals. That's coming back home. Donald Trump is a dynamo. Maybe he's not working as fast as you want him to, but hell, there's been politicians that have been screwing up this planet for eons. And now you guys want it fixed in 22 seconds. I'm sorry, life doesn't work that way. Okay, cut this man some slack. He's going to get rid of your property taxes. He's going to get rid of your cartel, IRS. Okay, this illegal mafia organization that was registered in Puerto Rico in 1946. We gave him a bunch of judges and guys with guns and jail cells and said, you got to pay taxes. Okay, they've been garnishing your wages forever. It's all about to come to an end. Cut the guy some slack. He went and picked up Maduro. We melted these 90 soldiers that were guarding Maduro, the most elite soldiers Cuba has, because they were guarding the oil. That was their interest there. Now they have no more oil. They're about to go dark. They're about to crash. And we melted them from 20 miles away with microwaves. They didn't even know what hit them. They immediately started to bleed from their eyes, their ears, their mouth, and they started to melt like an ice cream cone on a hot Sunday day. Okay, when we got there was nothing but just a pile of a meat suit sitting on concrete, and we went and picked up Maduro like we were picking up a kid at the daycare center. We have technology, folks, that nobody wants to mess with us. I will tell you that he's been taken into back rooms. I know this for a fact, even though I can't prove it. But I've been told by people that are very high up, and they didn't say anything. They just nodded, saying, yes, you're right, Mel. And basically, Donald Trump has been told to tone it down a little bit. We have technology. When that airplane disappeared out of the sky, it was a movie. Go look it up. There was plasma technology that the United States possesses that we went around that aircraft because they had the plasma technology in that aircraft getting ready to be transported where? Beijing, China. There were Chinese nationals, communist CCP, okay, in that airplane that worked for the United States CIA. And they were getting ready to export that technology over to China. Today, China would have that technology as well. We called their generals and said, watch your closed circuit TV and pay attention and don't fucking blink. Don't blink. We put batteries inside that thing, lithium batteries, so that we could burn the entire interior of that airplane and roast those guys in there like marshmallows. And then we made the whole thing just poof, disappear, like poof, into thin air. The plasma technology that we have, do we only have 4? Or do we have 400,000? Or do we have 4 million? Do we have 400 million? How many of those things do we have? We can literally go with that technology over every nuclear silo. Again, I was nodded. Yes, Mel, you are correct. And I'm not trying to make myself into a big deal, because I'm not a big deal. I'm just a guy here trying to tell you the real news, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. We have technology that can make nuclear silos completely null and void, and literally destroy those missiles, and not destroy them where they blow up or nothing like that. Literally useless right in their nuclear silos. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and whoever else has nuclear weapons. Israel. We can absolutely make their entire arsenal inert, which means if you own nuclear missiles, or if you think you are a nuclear power and you think you're this big, tough deal, you're not. Your weaponry just became as relevant as a slingshot or a BB gun. No one will ever mess with the United States of America ever again. Now, we're not here to bully nations, but we're going to a reset. We're going into heaven on earth. You cannot have heaven on earth and the devil living right next door with fentanyl and open borders and orgies and child trafficking and all the bullshit and spraying chemicals on the food, and right next door is heaven on earth, and everybody's going to sing Kumbaya and get along. That's not the way the world works. This is for all the casino chips, like Nino Rodriguez likes to say. What a great guy. I love Nino. What an incredible work ethic. Three podcasts a day, every day, like relentless. The guy is a machine. I wish I had that kind of time. I wish I had that kind of a team that I could do that. That would be amazing, because my channel will grow just as much as his is growing. He's figured out how to stay under the radar. So have I. I just got to figure out how to get the time. But anyway, long story short, no one will mess with the United States of America. We're the most powerful nation on earth. We're about to take over. Yes, it might take another year or two. Who knows? Or 3. Nobody knows. Anybody tells you, oh, yes, we're all going to be rich next Wednesday at 3 o'clock because we got a full moon now, and we're going to feel the goat's testicles. And if the goat's testicles are 89 degrees, yes, it's going to happen. Bullshit. Stop with that nonsense and stop listening to these people, please. Let's get to the next video.
This is a letter from the IRS showing we received your revocation of election to pay taxes. We have associated it with your account. There it is. Done deal, son. What is the proof? Revocation of election? Well, have you ever heard the IRS commissioners say it's a voluntary form of taxation? We have a voluntary tax system.
We have to maintain the confidence in the system, because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
Because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
As we all know, that our U.S. tax system is a voluntary tax system, and we depend on people willing. Our U.S. tax system is a voluntary tax system, and we depend on people willing.
Unless you're a federal employee, it is voluntary and you volunteered yourself. That's why they say that all the time. But as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, you've been pledged to pay the debt, and unknowingly you've been paying it this whole time. So step 1, if you reclaim your nationality back to the state, then just like we did, you could have the choice to file something like this because you're no longer a federal U.S. citizen, franchisee for the corporation.
Well, you're absolutely right, Judge. You know, what we have to look at is the president is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States of America. The president is the chief executive officer of this corporation called the United States of America.
That's when you have the right to do something like this. Don't let other people deceive you saying, oh, you can just do nothing but file this. But eventually you have no standing. So you have to prove that you know what you're talking about. You did politically correct your status. And then you revoked your obligation to the federal income tax because you're no longer a franchisee for the government. Now, if you decide to do that, this is the document to do it with. All of them, there's so many. Each of them establish your intent not to support something's unconstitutional or something that you obligate not to. You don't have to. You revoke your obligation. This is a letter from the IRS showing we received your revocation of election to pay taxes. We have associated it with your account. There it is.
Done deal, son. This is the proof. That's a letter straight from the IRS. So yes, you can do it. Claim your nationality, be the change, revoke your consent if you so choose. Revocation of election. Be the change you want to see, guys. And I told you, state nationals, we rock.
State national, constitutionalists, whatever you want to call ourselves. The bottom line is, folks, that there are ways around this. See, we're coming out with the movie, Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money, a movie about the straw man is coming out and is going to be premiering at the Quantum Summit, the Junior Quantum Summit, which will be held in Cape Canaveral now. Okay, no longer at the airplane hangar, unfortunately. We'll tell you why when we're allowed to. But the reality is that movie is going to premiere at the Quantum Summit on the 29th of March. So if you're coming to the Quantum Summit, you'll be able to see that movie premiere. And then 2 weeks later, it gets released to the entire world. That one's not going to be a freebie because I lost my shirt on the other one. But it won't set you back all that much. It'll be $5.89.17, just to send the message so the way they know exactly which team we're on. But it's all about, taxation with misrepresentation. It's all about all the illegal scams. It's all about your driver's license, your hunting license, your fishing license, all scams. Those are all bonds. They get traded indefinitely, getting compound on top of compound, 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 and you're all worth $200 million minimum. Would you like me to say that again? I didn't say $20 million. I didn't say 50 million. I said $200 million minimum. You get married, it's a license. You get divorced, it's a license. You get remarried if you're stupid enough, like some of us. Okay, I'm happily remarried for a second. My first marriage was a disaster. My second one is a charm. It's a license. Those bonds get traded on the market. You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's going to be in the movie. My wife paid a bill, and you'll see it in the movie. A lot of people paid bills in that movie, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get all the pieces in time to put them in the movie, but I know my wife's pieces are going to be in there, but there's 7 other people involved. One particular person paid $33,000 bill. Credit card bill. They all got a receipt saying, thank you for your payment. It was successful, only to get another email days later saying, sorry, it wasn't successful. Well, is it successful or isn't it successful? Of course they have the money, but it's not. You're a peasant. You're a slave. That's why it's called a social slave number. You get it? Folks, wake up. We're trying to wake you up here. We all love Jerry Reed, and Jerry is going to be at the Quantum Summit. He's got 410,000 people following him in 6 short months on Facebook. Okay, we got them at 138,000. We've been blowing them up, and but anyway, long story short, they're stifling him, and he'll probably tell that story at the summit. But here he is.
For God's sake, people, if a doctor makes you healthy, you no longer need him. You take your car to a mechanic, he puts a muffler on your car, quiets your car down. That's fixed. Done. But if you go to a doctor, they give you a pill, and you got to come back every month or 6 weeks for a follow-up. And we'll see if we can put a Band-Aid on that muffler to quiet it down for about a month. And then, goddamn it, you better go down to the pharmacy and buy another fucking Band-Aid to put back on that muffler, or it's going to get loud again. A contradiction of a doctor. You don't need him if he fixes you. So he doesn't want to fix you because you no longer are a revolving dollar. They're covering it up, masking whatever's making you sick so they can keep you in a chronic long-term treatment rather than actually fixing your muffler.
That's why you need to come to Staying Alive with 2 E's in Cape Canaveral, and we'll fix your muffler for you permanently. Folks, don't forget, okay, if you need a large sum of XRP, if you want to buy $10,000 worth is the minimum, there is no maximum. 786-704-8817. Say, hey, I need to buy 10,000, I need to buy 100,000, I need to buy $1 million, I need to buy $100 million worth of XRP. I can get you as much as you want. I'm connected to the biggest freaking brokers in the world, or the brokerage firms that I'm connected to is Epic. Okay. As a matter of fact, we just had another one fly into Palm Beach just last week. Amber and I went to dinner with a certain individual. Okay. Him and his partner opening up another firm in another part of Europe I am not allowed to mention. Okay. And we'll never mention the name of the company. Just come through me, we introduce you, and then you got basically the rights to go back to the wishing well as many times as you want. But your initiation is 10,000. There's no maximum. And I can tell you, if you want customer service, you want to pick up the phone, you want to do a Zoom call, you want somebody to answer your questions, that's how you do it. That's where the big boys shop. Okay. All the guys who have private planes and yachts and multiple homes around the world, they're Mel Carmine's customers. You understand? Okay. So stayingalive.com with 2 E's in Cape Canaveral, 166 Center Street. If you want to grab some great merchandise or get yourself some incredibly healthy dog food, okay, go to QFS1776.com/shop. Shop with the good guys. Okay. And don't forget, Carmine's Gold, carminesgold.com. We get you. Now it's nothing less than $5,000 on the silver and gold, nothing less, and there's no maximum, okay? Until the supplies run out, we'll let you know. CarminesGold.com, same number, 786-704-8817. All right, let's get to one more video, and that'll be the last video for today.
This is a great one. So if you're traveling, you should not be going through those TSA scanners. First and foremost, there was a website called epic.org, which reached out to the TSA members and asked for the studies on the little scanner that they're putting people through. They have no safety studies. Now, the other part that was interesting was all the TSA members are coming down with the big C because they're working next to those scanners, and because those scanners are operating on, wait for it, 5G and X-rays. They actually X-ray you without a blanket every single time you go through that. And they use millimeter waves and cook the people and see you naked, if you didn't know. So if you're going and traveling through the airport, I would advise not to go through any of those. Go for the pat down, because if enough people decided to say we're not going to go through this, it would go away. And the reason that the TSA scanners began, this is great. There was an alleged Al-Qaeda person, this is what they said, that came from Amsterdam to Detroit and allegedly tried to take down the plane. And then they were like, okay, TSA scanners all across America. All across America. The person came from Amsterdam to Detroit. And then they were like, oh, scanners everywhere. You got to take off your shoes, take off your belt, waters, valuables, anything, you name it. That's where it all began. So anybody who's trying to tell you you need to go through these scanners, you could just say, I'll pass on that. I'll go for the pat down. I'll opt out.
You know who goes for the pat down? Mel and Amber. We never go through those machines. You have to be absolutely out of your mind to go through that machine. Yet people do it every day. It's like going to the dentist getting like 1,000 X-rays all at once with no protection. That's what it is. Why do you think they have to switch out every few hours the TSA workers? Because they know. But they don't tell the TSA workers, but they got 82 IQ at best. That's like a genius. Probably 72 IQ. All right? But anyway, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. Leave it down below. If you enjoy this kind of content, I'll do more of this. If you don't, I won't. But in the meantime, you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you.